Alrighty. Bonjour encore ce matin. Today. Today, geometry without the geometry because mom was not able to do this part yet. And this part, you couldn't see this here, of which somebody failed, of this type of bottom house. And this part would seek it descending for this type of fronts as they travel through. But if you're seeking a wide Bordeaux, kind of stands still without these things of what happened in Greece. And oftentimes when it happens that way in Greece, they are descending. So when they're descending, do not seek to rise. And because of that part, it will only cater to the home. So what is the mom supposed to do there? I guess is take care of the bordure KOH shoe in terms of how that serpent seeks to attack the mother and deal with it with the sustenance of the child. And the sustenance of the child will be exactly the KOH, and hers will be the shoe of the KOH. So that it always does this way to grandma only. So I feel like I carry the entire planet, including the Bushman. So the Bushman would descend us and seek for her to rise it. So it was say couldn't be figured out by that route why the Bushman could not have been approached at all. So this type of thing for the child, this type of a descent would have seeked it up descent, which is places like United States, and kind of consider it to be food to the child. But this puts her out of the United States with a very saltiness séjour. And that will be self-explanatory. So it will be this up saltiness alone. Now, this type of Italy will want this type of mom 1,000 per walk per gram. Basically speaking, the way this type of seer soleil travels, you have to say something that is completely different in terms of a non-guard situation. It's just a way of where this type of crystalline lies based on how we are formed. See, but in this case, this would be considered. This is the fruit. You have this in there. You have this type of creme that borders this, and that would be what is of Italy. And it's so important. This type of board. You're not in the United States yet because the girl didn't have a daughter, and she has a daughter. That is so grave that I hate Spanish. Every one of you have to be hated, including this type of coolies, and the whites were last. In other words, you cannot take a daughter from the child, so they will probably seek vengeance, and this had to be exposed. And these are silly stuff. Why this one here could not have been with that on purpose serpent. And oftentimes, how you're seeking the serpent is how hers is. If you're seeing that, then it comes with fruits. That one there, and when it is, she has a saltiness future. So it would say Annie with the E could be Ireland. She's Ireland, and it dwells in that cemetery. So if somebody puts a fence in beyond, then it's criminal. And who put it before has to be faced like this type of girl in the front desk. And if they're putting her there yet, then this part seeks, this seer seeks to blind them. All of them. So it would put it with this here, and you are the most ugliest bitch I've ever seen for that. But it will put her into reclusion, and sometimes she needs it with on So it would say this part here could put it on the floor and you'll be happier. Now this means in this type of thing here, this type of this part would be that glass that figures it out on this side of the child, which is the left side, gives her daughters, whoever that is somebody that seeks to marry the child. A boy of a 19-year-old that is incarcerable for that persistence, meaning that I don't seek those type of things, so it kills. That's way. So when it decides to kill, it kills the child eyes. That is not part of the girl. So it says, do not seek to do so. So it will embarrass you. And if you're thinking it's in the dynasty, then keep fooling yourself. Now, this part here has been described already. And this part here, which would be the glass, means that those parts goes to the heavens based on a hole of this type of hole that pierces and takes you in there. So if you're having those type of problems, it's never that side. So she has to be able to put it against that person that seeks to take the saltiness away. Now, if she's a prize, she's not anymore, based on she was discovered that way, meaning that a way of this way. So what it is, she has to go uh, and put herself with her husband, and he has to be able to take care of her, push her out. If you were in love, well, you prepared it from learning, and that's dangerous, especially if you're seeking that community to slaughter and was found by the feds. Now, it would say that this type of thing here. So, when it's done this way, I guess it deals with this type of sums, the E sums, E equals MC, de, and the other side will E equals MC, M6, not M6. If it comes to this type of energy, then I listen to it, and that's being considered that France could have done it with saltiness and used no daughter. So he would see you went to mingle with peddlers of this type of tribes that does this type of cartel cults. So you just have to deal with it away from the child, and a president of the France cannot be doing so. So you are beauty. So now you have to be contacted by feds and sense that there is an animosity there, so it will be dealt with a javelin. So oftentimes these type of Louis XIV throws out to say you have a whole kingdom when you just had one brain, and get out after that part. You have Louis 1 to Louis XIV can says, and it's not possible. So these type of criminal activity says you cannot do so. The universe would take the child away from this epoch and wait 1,000 years when that epoch starts, conclude, and put little Phoebe out of existence. So you would say these things are there to liberate the child to live a harmonious life and her descendant line, just in case there's a blah blah seeking to take one to beat, meaning that you have to go to Karima's tribe up. There's a Karima in France and there's a Karima in Greece, see? So it will say these are weird folks. So you just have to deal with them. So up Greece is shut based on that discovery, and then put it on the borders never. Now when it comes to that part, the girl has to be hatred of this epoch, zero, and you're putting it in another epoch. So it whips against that type of blah blah and the shark. And this seeks to get this position, but finds it that you cannot do so with your own drive. You're too wicked. And if you weren't, then you would have been left and mischievous. In other words, seeking this part, and man would complain. So that's what say you neither is convenable, and you have to sense some animosity there of how it will be dealt with. So the left side is what deals with this type of T. I'm dealing with a T here, and I guess the T would be very descending with this type of crochet. And when she gets it, it's a descent, and this type of crochet would only be of fruit of which gives her, it's really they're giving her her finances of how she has to be. And then it takes her to places of this nature, which she gets to explore these things. And not Greece, that fooling was done this way, not, it was a prereq based on how the country of Greece and what you're proposing to the universe based on the casino, and have Onassis with Kennedy's the feeling. So those things cannot be, and knows that you're just seeking Pinar in Guyana. I would love to if the grandma had set it up that way, but she did not do so. In other words, she knows of the descent with this part to get here. So how do you get here is this way. So this type of funding provides it, and this type of things is even, there's another this there to find out that T when I get there, and that part of Rome pulls out based on the Karimas. So that was a Karima transferred into some kind of Negroidism of the left side, and it has to be dealt with at descent, toujours. So it says France was warned of these things in Leclerc, and you disobeyed. So now you have to go and surrender. Now, when it comes to this type of, it's the sustenance of the child based on what is this here. It seeks this in Italy, so it deals with this type of Borgio KOH2. So you cannot hit this to get there. And that's what the family knows now. You're hitting KOH to get there. You have to seek it where it belongs, and we're having pleasure. Now they probably do not, so the heavens demands, and you have to submit. So this part here would be what is of this epoch, sin of Aphrodite, and we would catch somebody, but that would be this here. That is in it's in a way of not a degradation, a criminal act. So the girl has to be pulled in and dealt with severely. So it's hopefully that we get to see some kind of episode of her and stop the frightful behavior, because the foreign says you cannot be, you just cannot be, and flips not. So it would say Modi to this type of girls. They have to flee and hide, those dark girls of the bushes of Guyana, and that boy, and if she has any more brown sons. So you can put that one at peace because of this type of this type of this type of tooing in this land. This way, this is how we catch it, and this way. So now we find the two countries up, and we see the red tranny to let us know stay away from that boy forever, and seek him not in these type of 3D dreams, and do not seek to eat the cemetery. And that aspect of this descent of Guyana has to realize that you come as an Ovia from the Indians, and has to be able to surrender this no more. So you cannot be lurking, but it cannot see perhaps. So that's a dangerous for this type of descent in Guyana, and that's probably today of October 17th, which is on a Friday. Yesterday, I guess we're dealing with the cast for the film based on this. So when we are, this type of saltiness has to be stirred up this way a bit. So it just arouses the child, but it's seeking mystery now. So you have to be kind of use the fucked up word, and it kind of gets to why it is if it was missed in San Francisco Bay, well, they probably don't have it, or it hides with those type of little yachts. So this type of thing would be what is of this totally, and when it is really this we're dealing with. So those type of things hits her permanently, so she has to back away and leave those people alone, and the girl continues her journey this way. So it kind of eliminates this part, see, when it's done that way, and finds it in this part is where you find this type of merger. And if she sees it, then don't bother her. Now, oftentimes this part could, based on this type here, based on where the person lives, to put it this way, and this way is dangerous for her because of geometry. So if she becomes sinful, then this and kills her with this type of person, radical. So she comes in. So this would say, I cannot deal with this type of grandma, but I cannot deal with the child. So this type of child, just reminisce of her this day, and all will be well. And oftentimes, the relation of the website not being able to see her grow, knowing that I'm never seeing her, like this says, I cannot. It just cannot. It just cannot. My search says stop now. So I have to stay away. But I need my daughter. And my daughter probably would cry based on what they did, but she is well this way forever. So you cannot. If you didn't put your stuff, then you're not a faithful to your tribe and to your country. So immigration is impossible. And I talked about the mixity and deal with it. The lady lived through it with the T's. See, to feel it with this here. So now it has to deal with just this part, and getting there quickly takes her to that part, but this could not be what is phantom with the BA. It could be phantom just for this part, and this part is taken away from them. Your homos, blacks of Guyana, the things that you have done. And I don't want to put it in there. That word was spontaneous. It becomes part of the vocabulary because of the pluses, the sustenances, and this descent fakely. And up she goes, she does this here, that way, and say, Bizu, and she will be flying throughout the day with little hints.